I unlocked the front door, tired fingers fumbling with the keys, and stepped inside. The house smelled different, coffee brewing, faint perfume, but it didn't feel like home. My heart thudded with a strange mix of hope and fatigue. "Claire?" I called, dropping my briefcase. Silence. Just the soft hum of the refrigerator. Then I heard it, a laugh. Not hers. A man's. Sharp. Familiar. My chest tightened. I followed the sound upstairs, each step heavier than the last. Outside the bedroom, I froze. There she was, Claire. And him, Darren. I felt my voice leave me for a moment. Then I forced it out, low and dangerous. "Claire, what the hell is this?" She looked at me like I was a ghost, eyes wide. "Ethan, You what? Explain this." I shouted, my hands trembling. "You've been cheating on me?" Darren pushed past her, smirking. "Hey man, didn't expect to see you so early." I stared at him. "You're unbelievable. You think this is okay?" Claire stepped closer to me, arms raised as if to calm me. "Ethan, please let me explain. It's not what it looks like. Not what it looks like. Claire, I walked in on you. How else does it look?" My voice cracked. I hated the tremor, hated that he got to see it. She sighed, soft, dramatic. "You work too much, Ethan. You're never home. You don't notice me anymore." I laughed bitterly. "Notice you? I trusted you. I came home every night hoping to see you, and this," I gestured wildly at the room, at him, at her. "This is what I find." Darren leaned against the doorframe. "Look, man, I'm not trying to hurt you. She's happy with me." I felt my knees weaken. "Happy? Happy? Claire, is this true?" My eyes searched hers, desperate. Her gaze shifted. "Ethan, I didn't mean for it to happen. I love you, but what?" I demanded. "You love him." She didn't answer. Her silence screamed more than words ever could. My stomach churned. The world around me tilted. I wanted to punch something, scream, run, anything. I stepped closer. "Do you even realize what you've done? I worked late nights, I gave everything, and for what? This." She looked hurt now, or was it fake? I couldn't tell. "Ethan, please. We can work through this." I laughed again, hollow. "Work through this? Claire, you destroyed us." My hands shook so badly, I had to grip the doorframe. "How long? How long has this been going on?" She hesitated, then whispered. "A few months. A few months." The words slammed into me like a fist. I staggered back. My mind went blank, then burned with anger. "Months? Months? And you think I'd forgive that?" Darren snorted. "Relax, man. She's happier now." I whirled on him. "You have no idea what happiness is. You don't understand what it means to love someone." My voice dropped. I wanted to cry, but refused. "You've ruined everything." Claire stepped between us. "Ethan, please. Don't make this worse. You don't understand." "I understand perfectly," I snapped. "I understand that I'm standing here alone, betrayed, humiliated. And you, both of you, did this while I was working my ass off for us." Her eyes welled. "I'm sorry." "Sorry?" I laughed, a sound without humor. "Sorry doesn't fix months of lies. Sorry doesn't undo the nights I spent hoping, trusting, believing." I felt my chest tighten so badly, I thought I'd collapse. Rage, grief, disbelief, every emotion collided inside me. I wanted to throw something, break something, just to feel. But I didn't. I couldn't. I turned on my heel, stormed out, grabbed my keys. "I'm leaving. Don't follow me." She called after me, voice trembling. "Ethan, wait. Please." I didn't. I drove into the night, windows down, cold air slicing my face. The city lights blurred, but my mind was sharper than ever. I clenched the steering wheel. I will never forgive this. Never. I didn't know yet how or when, but I knew one thing. My life had ended that night, and I would never be the same again. I crashed onto Marcus's couch, keys still clutched in my hand. The apartment smelled like coffee and old books, familiar and oddly comforting. Marcus looked up from his laptop, eyebrows raised. Rough night. You have no idea, I muttered, burying my face in my hands. He closed the laptop and leaned back. Start from the beginning. I can handle it. I groaned. Where do I start? Claire, she cheated. I walked in, and there they were. My voice cracked. Months of lies, Marcus. Months. He nodded slowly. And your feeling? I laughed bitterly. Everything. Anger, disbelief, humiliation. I feel like my entire life is a lie. How could she? How could I not see it? Marcus poured 2 mugs of coffee and handed me one. Take it slow. One sip at a time. I stared at the steaming liquid, hands shaking. I can't stop thinking about it. Every memory, every promise, feels fake now. He sat across from me, arms resting on his knees. Ethan, I'll listen. I know it hurts. I know it feels like the end. But revenge? That's a trap. You don't want to spend your life burning over her lies. Then what am I supposed to do? Pretend it didn't happen? Pretend she didn't ruin us? I shouted, gripping the mug so tightly it rattled. No, he said calmly. You rebuild. You focus on yourself. You take control of your life again. That's real power, not the fake satisfaction of revenge. I shook my head. I don't even know where to start. I feel hollow, empty, like I'm just floating. Marcus leaned forward, voice firm but gentle. Start with one thing. One small step. You're still here, you're still breathing, and you're not broken beyond repair. Trust me. I stared at him, my chest tight. It doesn't feel like that. It feels like everything I believed in is gone. He shrugged. It is. But maybe that's a chance to rebuild it better. Stronger. Smarter. For you, not her. I ran a hand through my hair, frustration and grief colliding. I don't know if I can trust anyone ever again. Marcus gave me a small, knowing smile. Trust isn't given, Ethan. It's earned. And maybe this is your chance to learn who's really worth it. We sat in silence for a moment, the hum of the city outside filling the space. I sipped my coffee, trying to steady my thoughts. I keep imagining walking in again, seeing them, feeling that sick weight in my chest. I don't want to feel it again, but I can't stop. Then use it, Marcus said quietly. Use the anger, the pain. Let it fuel you to take control. Don't waste it on hating her. Focus on you. I swallowed hard, nodding slowly. Maybe I can. Maybe I don't have to be a victim. That's the spirit, he said, raising his mug. Here's to picking up the pieces. One step at a time. I clinked my mug against his, letting the warmth seep in. One step at a time, I repeated, almost to convince myself. Hours passed. We talked, argued, laughed bitterly at my misfortune. I vented every thought, every accusation, every lingering doubt. Marcus listened, never judging, always guiding. You're stronger than you think, he said as the night wore on. You just need to remember that. I nodded, staring at the ceiling. It's just hard. I feel lost, like a part of me died tonight. Maybe something did die, he admitted. But that just makes room for something better. Something you build yourself. I closed my eyes, taking a deep breath. For the first time in hours, I felt a flicker of something, hope. Not for Claire, not for revenge yet, but for me. For a future where I wasn't defined by betrayal. Marcus leaned back, smiling faintly. Sleep on it. Tomorrow's a new day, and we start fresh. One step, Ethan. One step. I nodded again, sipping the last of my coffee. One step, I whispered, letting the words settle in my chest. Maybe tomorrow, I'd begin. I sat at my desk, pretending to type while my mind replayed every moment from that night. Every laugh, every touch, every lie Claire had whispered. I could feel the heat rising in my chest, a bitter, scorching mix of anger and humiliation. Hey, Ethan. My heart skipped. I looked up to see Darren leaning against the doorway, smirking like he owned the place. What do you want? I asked, keeping my voice steady even though my hands were tight on the keyboard. He shrugged, casual. Just checking in. Seeing how the guy who lost everything is holding up. I stood abruptly. Lose everything? Don't act like you're innocent in this. You knew exactly what you were doing. Darren raised an eyebrow. Oh, I knew.
And she wanted it.
Can't blame me for agreeing. I took a step closer, chest tight. She's married, Darren. She's my wife. And you just stole her from me. Stole, he laughed, loud and cruel. You're dramatic, man. She chose me, not like I forced her. I ground my teeth. I don't care who chose who. You don't just waltz into someone's life and ruin them. He leaned back, arms crossed. Relax, Ethan. You're acting pathetic. You still have a job, a life. She was bored. I just made her happy. I felt rage boiling inside me, threatening to spill. My knuckles ached from clenching my fists, but I forced a smile.
Funny.
You talk about happiness, but all I feel is shame. Every glance, every whisper about her. I feel like everyone knows. Maybe they do, Darren said, tilting his head. Maybe that's the point. People should know what a loser you are. I swallowed hard, forcing my chest to calm. You think this is funny? Think you're winning? You're just a coward hiding behind someone else's betrayal. Darren's smile faltered for a split second. Then he chuckled. Careful, man. You sound like you're about to explode. Relax, take a deep breath. Or, do you want to make a scene? I stared at him, measuring my words. My hands loosened slightly, but the fire in my chest stayed. I don't want to make a scene. I want to make you understand the pain you caused. But I won't give you the satisfaction of seeing me crumble. He leaned closer, smirk returning. Suit yourself. But deep down, you know she wanted this. And you're just standing there, weak, humiliated. That's reality. I forced a laugh, bitter and low. Reality, huh? Maybe. But I'll tell you something. This isn't the end for me. You might think you won, but I'm not done.
Not yet.
You'll see what it means to cross me. Darren straightened, surprised at my calm. Oh, and how exactly do you plan to do that? I shrugged, letting the facade of composure cover the boiling anger underneath. I don't need to tell you. You'll figure it out soon enough. He studied me for a moment, then shook his head.
All right, man.
Have fun pretending you're in control. He turned and walked away, smirk fading as he disappeared around the corner. I exhaled slowly, gripping the edge of my desk. My chest still burned, but a small spark had ignited, something sharper than rage, colder than hurt. Planning. Calculating. I sat back down, pretending to work while my mind churned. Every step, every misstep, every weakness I had shown would be remembered. Every insult, every word he threw, I filed it away. Not for revenge tonight, not for a breakdown, but for later. Later, I would have control. Later, I would make sure that humiliation, that bitter taste, didn't stick to me. I would turn it into power. For now, I typed a report, smiled at passing colleagues, and let Darren's smirk haunt my thoughts. The public mask stayed intact, but underneath, a storm was brewing. And when it hit, no one, especially him, would see it coming. I stepped into my small office, the smell of fresh paint and new furniture mixing with a faint scent of coffee from the corner. My startup was finally taking shape, but my chest tightened every time I thought about the life I'd left behind. Claire's face flashed in my mind, uninvited and unwelcome. Morning, Ethan, Marcus said, walking in with his usual grin. Big day. Interviews lined up. Yeah, I muttered, rubbing my temples. I need competent people, Marcus. Not just warm bodies. He chuckled. You're picky. Good. That's why you'll succeed. The first candidate arrived, and the usual back and forth began. I asked questions, listened to answers, and tried to focus, but my mind wandered. Then I heard the clatter of a coffee cart, and I froze.
Claire.
She was there, pushing a cart, wearing the barista uniform, smiling at everyone like nothing had happened. My stomach dropped. I could barely breathe. Ethan? Marcus's voice pulled me back. You okay? I need coffee, I said, voice tight. My hands shook. She rolled the cart closer, unaware, or pretending to be unaware, that I was staring. Good morning. Who wants coffee? My heart raced. I wanted to scream, to turn and run, but I didn't. I forced myself to remain seated, trying to appear calm. I heard Olivia's voice from the side. Ethan, you look like you've seen a ghost. I turned to see my sister leaning against the doorway, arms crossed, eyebrow raised. Claire? I whispered, more to myself than to her. She's here, Olivia said softly. And I can see her about to explode. Explode. I laughed bitterly. I can't believe it. She's here, working for me. Olivia shrugged. Maybe it's fate, maybe it's torture. Either way, you need to decide what to do. Confront or ignore. I clenched my jaw. Ignore her? How am I supposed to ignore the woman who ruined my life? She's under your roof, well, your office roof. Don't give her the satisfaction of watching you lose it, Olivia said. Marcus leaned in, whispering, You got this. But remember, patience now is power later. I nodded, trying to steady my thoughts. Okay, but it's hard. Seeing her, smiling, pretending everything's fine, it makes my blood boil. She wheeled the cart to my desk, setting a cup in front of me. Latte, Ethan. Extra hot, just like you like it, she said cheerfully. I stared at the cup. The casual tone, the fake cheer, it was maddening. I clenched my fists under the table. Thanks, I said, voice cold. Everything okay? She asked, tilting her head, smiling as if nothing had ever happened. I forced a casual shrug.
Yeah, just busy.
You know how it is. She nodded and moved on to other employees, laughing and chatting. Every word was like a knife twisting in my chest. Marcus leaned over.
Plan.
I exhaled slowly. Plan?
Right now, survive the day.
Act like she's just another barista. Watch. Learn. Don't give her power. Olivia nodded. And later? I looked at the cup of coffee, steam curling up like mockery. Later, I figure out what to do. Maybe confrontation. Maybe I let her realize the cost herself. Either way, I won't lose control again. Marcus smirked.
Good.
Smart. You've been through hell, Ethan. You're stronger than you think. Let that fuel you. I stared at her as she served the next person, every laugh, every smile grating on my nerves. But beneath the fury, I felt something shift. Strategy, calculation. The same fire that had burned the night I discovered her betrayal was still alive, but now I had direction. Focus, I muttered to myself. Control first. Revenge or closure later. Olivia patted my shoulder. Exactly. One step at a time, little brother. One step at a time. I took a deep breath, sipped the coffee she'd placed in front of me, and forced a nod. One step, I whispered, tasting bitterness and determination in equal measure. This was my new beginning, even if old pain refused to leave me. I gritted my teeth as Claire rolled her coffee cart past my desk again. Every morning, the same routine, smiling, cheerful, pretending like nothing had happened. My fingers itched to grab her, to shake her, but I forced myself to breathe. Patience. Strategy. That was my mantra now. Morning, Ethan. Latte? She asked, setting a cup down in front of me with a smile that made my stomach twist. I picked up the cup slowly, pretending calm. Morning, I said, voice neutral. Black today. She raised an eyebrow. Black? Rough night, or trying to make a statement. I met her gaze, letting the chill in my tones speak. Just adjusting preferences. Things change. She laughed softly. I can relate. People change, right? I stared at her. The casual tone, the fake friendliness, it drove me insane. Right, I muttered, forcing a nod. People change. Ethan, are you okay? A colleague, Jenna, asked from across the room, noticing my tension.
Yes.
Fine, I said quickly. Thanks. Claire glanced at her briefly, then at me. He seems tense, she said, voice low enough for only me to hear. Stressful day. I leaned in, keeping my voice calm but controlled.
You could say that.
And you? Working here. How's that going for you? Her smile faltered for a split second before returning. It's fine. Keeps me busy. Making coffee, chatting with everyone. I like it. Busy, huh? I pressed, testing her. Ever think about other opportunities? She shook her head quickly.
No.
I like it here. It's simple. I narrowed my eyes slightly. Simple. Convenient.
Too convenient.
I made a mental note. Good. Keep it simple, then. Another colleague approached, asking for a cappuccino. Claire moved away to serve, and I let my eyes follow her. Each movement, each gesture, I cataloged. Not to humiliate. To understand. To strategize. Marcus leaned over my desk, whispering, "You're watching her too closely." "I have to," I muttered. "I need to know where her loyalty lies. I can't trust her, not yet. Not in this space." Olivia's voice came through my phone speaker. "Be careful, Ethan. Don't let her see she still affects you this much. Play it cool." I gritted my teeth. I know. I'm controlling it. Every word, every glance, it's all part of the plan. Claire returned, setting the next cup in front of me. "Here you go. Extra hot, just how you like it." I met her eyes. "Thanks," I said, voice neutral. "You're consistent." "Consistent is good, right?" she replied, tilting her head innocently. I forced a small smile. Sometimes it's a warning." She blinked, not fully understanding, and walked away. My chest burned, but I didn't let it show. Strategy first. Anger later. Jenna peeked over my shoulder again. "Are you two okay?" I glanced at her, shrugging. "Better than okay. Just working on communication." Marcus leaned in again. "You're holding back too much. You're giving her the satisfaction of your restraint. Is that what you want?" I shook my head, taking a slow sip of coffee.
No.
"But I have to survive. Observe. Every word, every move counts." Claire rolled by again, setting down another cup. "You look tense again, Ethan. Did I do something?" "You haven't," I said carefully. "But your presence, that's a reminder of things I need to manage." Her eyes flicked briefly, sensing the edge. "Manage?" "Yes," I said softly. "Life has a way of throwing challenges at us. Some people test our patience more than others." She nodded slowly, moving on. I let out a quiet breath I didn't realize I'd been holding. Every interaction, every word, was a test. And I was learning, controlling, calculating. By the time lunch rolled around, I felt a strange combination of fury and satisfaction. I had kept my composure. I had gauged her intentions. And I had learned more about my own restraint than I ever wanted to admit. I picked up the next cup she handed me, staring into the bitter liquid. One day, I muttered under my breath, "This bitterness will turn into something else. Something that works in my favor." And I meant it. I caught Claire slipping a file into her bag when I rounded the corner near the server room. My stomach clenched. "Claire," I said, voice sharp. She froze, eyes wide. "Ethan," she stammered, straightening instantly. Nothing." I stepped closer, lowering my voice. "Don't lie to me. I saw what you were doing. That file, what is it?" Her hands trembled slightly. "I'm just checking inventory. That's all." I shook my head. "Inventory? That's not on your list. And why are you sneaking it into your bag?" Claire's lips pressed together. I can explain. You don't understand. Explain? Don't even start." I swallowed my anger, trying to force calm. "I trusted you. And now you're leaking information. To Darren, wasn't it?" Her face paled. "Ethan, it's not like that. You think I'm stupid?" I snapped. "I know everything. Every step you've taken. Every secret shared. I've been humiliated, manipulated, and used. And you still think you can get away with it? I didn't mean." "Stop. I'm done listening to excuses," I said, voice cold. "From now on, you answer to me. Every move you make, every word you speak in this office, goes through me." her eyes filled with fear. Or maybe that was guilt. Ethan, please. I shook my head.
No.
Please doesn't fix months of betrayal. But here's the thing. I'm still in control. You see, I've learned a lot in the past weeks. Patience, observation, calculation. You underestimated me. Big mistake. She swallowed, trembling. What do you want from me? I smiled faintly, but it didn't reach my eyes. I want control. I want the upper hand. You leak information to him again, you'll regret it, but I won't show weakness. You think you've won? Not yet. I'm still ahead. Always ahead. Claire's lips parted, but no words came out. She was cornered, and she knew it. Later, I called Darren unexpectedly, voice calm but lethal. We need to talk, I said. Oh, Ethan. To what do I owe the pleasure? His tone was smug, too confident. Cut the games. I know about Claire. About the files. Stop thinking you have the advantage. It's over. Over? I don't think you understand. I understand perfectly, I interrupted. You think you can manipulate us both, but I'm not going to lose again. You've underestimated me, Darren. That's your mistake. There was silence for a beat, then a chuckle, uneasy this time. All right, I see. You're serious. I'm always serious.
Don't test me.
One more slip, and it's done. Your access, your connections, everything you rely on. I've learned how to protect myself without exposing myself. You're different than before, he admitted. I didn't expect this. I leaned back, letting the words linger. You should never underestimate someone who's been burned. You think betrayal breaks a person. It can, but it can also forge something stronger. Something smarter. Something patient. I am that something. I hung up and ran a hand through my hair, chest tight but mind clear. The fire of anger had transformed into something sharper, focus. I could control the situation. I could manipulate without losing myself. I could turn this humiliation into power. Claire avoided my gaze for the rest of the day. I didn't need to speak. The tension was enough. She knew her position, her vulnerability, and that her every move was now calculated in my mind. Marcus appeared later, sensing the change. You're different, he said quietly. More strategic. I nodded. I had to be. Anger alone doesn't win. Observation, patience, calculation. That's what wins. I can't let my emotions make me vulnerable again. You're not too far gone, are you? He asked cautiously. I smiled faintly.
No.
I'm learning. I'm controlling what I can. Every detail, every reaction. This is a new battlefield, and I'm ready. They won't see me coming, but I'll see everything. By the time I left the office, the sun had dipped low. I walked to my car, chest still tight but mind buzzing. Betrayal had revealed itself in full, but now I had clarity. Anger was fuel, observation was strategy, patience was weapon. I could feel the storm building, controlled and precise. Darren thought he was untouchable. Claire thought she was clever. But I had the advantage now, my mind, my planning, and my resolve. Tonight, I realized something vital. I would not be the broken man anymore. I would not crumble. I would survive, manipulate, and reclaim everything that had been stolen from me. And when the time came, they would understand exactly what it meant to cross me. I watched Claire across the room, her smile forced, her hands fidgeting as if she knew something was coming. Darren leaned casually against the wall, chest puffed, confident in his perceived victory. I gritted my teeth but didn't move. Patience had brought me here. Strategy had brought me here. Tonight was the night they would taste the consequences. Ethan? Marcus's whisper pulled me back. Are you sure you want to do this? I have to, I said quietly. It's not about anger anymore. It's about control. About showing them what happens when they think they can humiliate me. He nodded, eyes sharp. Just don't lose yourself in it. I gave a tight smile. I won't. Every word, every move, calculated. I cleared my throat and walked into the small gathering where colleagues and friends of the company had gathered for a casual networking event. Claire caught my eye instantly, her expression flickering between fear and defiance. Darren's smirk remained, though I could see the faint twitch of uncertainty. "Good evening, everyone," I began, voice calm, steady. "I'd like to address something important." Claire's hand froze mid-motion, and Darren's eyes narrowed. "I've learned that trust is fragile," I said, scanning the room. "And betrayal can hide in the most unexpected places." My gaze settled on them. Sometimes, those closest to us think they can take what isn't theirs without consequence. Claire's lips parted. "Ethan," she began, but I raised a hand to stop her. "Let me finish," I said, voice firm. "In the past months, I discovered that some people believed they could manipulate, lie, and steal without anyone noticing." Darren's smirk faltered. "What are you?" I let the silence stretch, letting the room's attention turn toward them. "Claire, Darren, everyone here knows you now, and everyone here will understand the cost of deceit." "Ethan, wait." Claire's voice shook. "You've humiliated me," I said, locking eyes with Darren. "You thought your affair, your secrets, would remain hidden. You thought I would crumble quietly." Darren's face tightened. "You can't prove anything." I smiled, cold and precise. "Oh, I can. I've kept records, messages, files, all of which paint a very clear picture." Murmurs rippled through the room. I let the silence linger, watching as the whispers grew louder. Claire's cheeks burned red. Darren's jaw clenched. "You see," I continued, voice rising slightly to be heard over the chatter, "betrayal leaves a mark, not just on the heart, but on reputation, trust, and relationships. And it's a mark that cannot easily be erased." Claire tried to speak again, stammering, "Ethan, please." "No," I said firmly. "No more excuses. No more manipulation. This is reality. This is the consequence of your choices." Darren's voice dropped to a low growl. "You think this changes anything?" I leaned in slightly, my tone icy. "It changes everything. People see the truth now. People understand your deceit.
And I
regain control without stooping to your level." The room was quiet, tension thick. I let my gaze sweep over everyone, letting them absorb the gravity. Their expressions mirrored the truth I was revealing. Claire's shoulders slumped, Darren's posture stiffened. "You think revenge feels sweet," I said softly, almost to myself, "but it's a hollow victory. It satisfies the mind but weighs heavily on the soul." Claire's lips quivered. I didn't realize." "You didn't think about the cost," I interrupted. "I did. And that's the difference." Marcus nudged me gently. "Remember why you're doing this. Not just for humiliation. For clarity. For control." I nodded.
exactly.
"And the lesson is clear. Betrayal has consequences. Not just emotional, but social, practical, and permanent in memory." Claire sank into her chair, head in hands. Darren's usual arrogance was gone, replaced by quiet, uneasy acknowledgement. My chest burned, not with joy, but with a deep, lingering sadness. The revenge was necessary, but it came at a cost. I could feel the hollow ache in my chest that anger never filled. After the murmurs died down, I stepped back, voice calm. "This isn't about humiliation for me. It's about awareness, truth, and the reclamation of what was stolen. Let this be a reminder: deceit and betrayal always have a price." I turned to leave, letting the moment linger in their minds. Claire and Darren didn't follow. They couldn't. They were trapped in the consequences of their choices. Outside, Marcus clapped me on the shoulder. That was impressive. I exhaled slowly, staring at the streetlights. It had to be done, but it feels heavy. Victory never feels pure when it costs this much emotionally. "It's part of the process," Marcus said. "You're learning, growing. You're not just reacting anymore." I nodded, sipping the water I'd grabbed from the lobby. "I've reclaimed control, yes. But the cost is clear. Betrayal leaves scars, even when justice is served." I looked up at the night sky, feeling both satisfaction and sorrow entwined. I did what I had to do, and yet the emptiness lingers. That's the price of revenge. That's the truth I now carry. The bitter taste of victory lingered on my tongue, sharper than coffee, heavier than I expected. But I had survived. I had regained my power, and I had learned control was the only true antidote to betrayal. I sat at my desk, staring at the spreadsheet on my screen, but not really seeing it. The office buzzed around me, colleagues chatting, phones ringing, but my mind was quieter now. The chaos of betrayal and revenge had passed, leaving a strange emptiness, but also space. Space to breathe. Space to rebuild. "Hey, Ethan," a soft voice said, pulling me out of my thoughts. I looked up to see Sophia standing there, holding a folder. "Got a minute?" "Sure," I said, gesturing to the chair across from me. My chest tightened slightly, unfamiliar, but not unpleasant. She sat down, placing the folder carefully on my desk. I reviewed the client proposals. Some adjustments could help us close the deal faster. I glanced at the folder, then back at her. "You've been thorough. I appreciate it." Sophia smiled, not in a flirty way, just calm and sincere. "I know things have been rough. I wanted to make sure you have support here." I nodded slowly, surprised by the genuine concern in her tone. "Thanks. I didn't expect it. Not after everything I've been through." "You've been through a lot," she said gently. "But I can see you're learning to move forward. That's important." I exhaled, letting some of the tension go. "I'm trying." It's strange, feeling like I'm rebuilding myself instead of just reacting to everything around me. "That's growth," she said, eyes warm. "It doesn't happen overnight, but it's happening." I laughed lightly, almost embarrassed. I never thought I'd say this, but it's comforting, having someone remind me of that. She tilted her head. "Ethan, you're strong. You survived betrayal, humiliation, and still managed to maintain control. That takes courage and a certain kind of resilience." I frowned slightly, conflicted. Resilience, maybe, but it's not without scars. I still feel the weight of everything, every choice, every mistake. Sophia leaned in, voice soft. "Scars are proof that you survived. They don't define you. They remind you that you're human, that you can trust again, carefully, cautiously." I looked at her, feeling an unfamiliar warmth in my chest. "Trust again," I muttered, almost to myself. "It's hard to imagine, but maybe it's possible." She smiled. "It is. You're opening the door. That's the first step." I nodded slowly. I think I want to believe that. After everything, I need something stable. Someone who isn't complicated by betrayal." Sophia's eyes softened. "I can't promise perfection, but I can promise honesty and support." I chuckled lightly. "Honesty. That's refreshing. More than I've had in a long time." She laughed quietly. "Well, it's worth a try, isn't it?" I leaned back in my chair, staring at the ceiling for a moment. "It is. It has to be. I've spent too long being angry, hurt, plotting. It's time to actually live again." Marcus walked by, noticing our conversation. "Looks like someone's finding their footing," he said, smirking. "I am," I admitted, a small smile forming. "I'm learning to focus on what I can control, what matters. Not revenge anymore, but life. And maybe someone worth trusting." Sophia's smile widened. "That sounds like progress." I nodded, sipping my coffee, letting the warmth settle into my chest. Progress, yes. That's what I need now. Friends, work, stability, and maybe, eventually, trust again. She glanced at the clock. "Lunch break soon. Want to grab a bite? Talk about things outside work." I hesitated, then nodded.
Yeah.
"I think I'd like that." Marcus peeked his head in again. "Don't let her corrupt you too much, Ethan." I laughed softly, shaking my head. "Corrupt me? Maybe guide me at most." Sophia stood, folder in hand. "Come on, then. One step at a time, right?" "Right," I said, standing too. My legs felt a little lighter than usual. One step at a time. As we walked toward the cafeteria, I reflected on everything that had happened. Betrayal, revenge, humiliation, they still lingered, but they no longer defined me. They were lessons, scars, reminders of strength and survival. I glanced at Sophia, her presence calm and steady, and felt something I hadn't allowed myself to feel in a long time. Hope. Not reckless hope, but measured, cautious hope. A chance to rebuild not just a life, but a heart capable of trusting again. "Thank you," I said quietly, almost to myself, as we stepped into the sunlight. "For what?" she asked, smiling. "For showing me it's possible to move forward," I said. She smiled, and we walked together into the day, a little lighter, a little stronger, carrying our scars but choosing life over bitterness. I leaned back in my chair, staring out the window at the city lights. The hum of traffic below sounded distant, almost peaceful. Yet inside me, a storm of guilt, anger, and sorrow still lingered. "Ethan, you've been quiet all night," Marcus said, sliding into the chair opposite me, a beer in hand. "Talk to me. You're carrying something." I exhaled slowly. "I keep thinking about everything. Claire, Darren, the lies, the betrayal, the revenge. Even now, I feel heavy." Marcus nodded, taking a sip. "You've been through a lot, but you survived. That counts for something." "I know, but surviving doesn't erase the hurt. And sometimes I wonder if I let the anger define me too long." "You let it teach you," Marcus said softly. "It shaped your strategy, your strength. But it doesn't have to own you anymore." I nodded, voice low. "I want to let go. But every time I think about Claire, that bitterness flares again. And I hate that part of myself." "You're human," he said simply. "Guilt and anger don't disappear overnight. They fade as you face them." Just then, Sophia walked in, holding 2 cups of tea. "I thought you could use a break," she said gently, setting one in front of me. "Thanks," I murmured. The warmth seeped into my hands, comforting. "I'm trying to let go. Trying to accept that the past is past." She smiled softly. "Acceptance isn't weakness. It's freedom. You don't have to forget, just learn to carry it differently." "I wish I could feel that fully," I admitted. "Sometimes it feels like the shadows are still following me." "Shadows remind you of growth," she said. "They show how far you've come. And you've come far, Ethan." I leaned back, sipping the tea, letting her words settle. "I hope so. I want to believe it. For so long, I let betrayal define my life. But now, I want peace." "Peace doesn't mean forgetting," Marcus added. "It means choosing what matters. Choosing yourself over revenge." I nodded, swallowing hard. "You're right. And Olivia reminded me of something similar today. About family, about not letting past pain block new beginnings." Sophia reached out, lightly touching my arm.
See?
"You're surrounded by reminders to heal.
To trust.
To live." I closed my eyes briefly. I want to forgive myself, too. For letting her hurt me, for letting anger control me. And maybe even forgive her in some way. "Forgiveness is for you," Marcus said firmly. "Not for her. You're choosing to release the weight, not to excuse her actions." I exhaled, feeling a little lighter. That makes sense. And I think I can do that. I can face Claire without fear or rage. Maybe even talk to her properly. The next day, I saw Claire near the lobby, hesitant. She froze when our eyes met. "Ethan," she said softly, voice trembling. I wanted to apologize. For everything." I looked at her, seeing the remnants of guilt mirrored in her expression. "I know. And I've thought a lot about it. I don't hate you anymore. I'm choosing peace. For me." Her eyes glistened. I don't deserve it. But thank you." "You've caused enough damage," I said quietly, "but holding on to it won't heal me. I'm done letting the past control my life." She nodded slowly, a fragile smile forming. "I hope you find happiness." "I will," I said sincerely. "And I hope you do too, eventually. But from a distance." As she walked away, I felt a lightness I hadn't felt in months. The anger, the plotting, the obsession, it had faded. I was free to focus on myself, my friends, and the life I was building. Later, Sophia and Marcus joined me again. "How's it feel?" she asked softly. Different, I admitted. Lighter, but still aware of the scars.
They're part of me now.
But they don't define me anymore. Marcus smiled.
Exactly.
Broken, but stronger. That's the mark of survival. I looked at both of them, feeling gratitude, relief, and a cautious hope for the future. Thank you, I said quietly, for reminding me what it means to move forward. Sophia reached out, squeezing my hand gently. And you'll keep moving, step by step, with awareness, strength, and a heart that's learning to trust again. I nodded, taking in the moment. The past was behind me, the future uncertain, but mine to shape. And for the first time in a long time, I felt ready. I stepped into the office that morning, sunlight streaming through the windows, feeling lighter than I had in months. The air smelled fresh, coffee brewing in the corner, and life felt normal. Not the chaotic normal I'd endured before, but a calm, steady one. Sophia, morning, I called, setting my bag down. Morning, Ethan, she replied, smiling warmly. You look different today. I feel different, I admitted, running a hand through my hair. Less haunted. More present, I guess. She raised an eyebrow. Haunted less, present more. Sounds like progress. I chuckled. It is. I've spent so long reacting to the past that I forgot what it felt like to just live. You've earned this, she said softly. You fought, you survived, and now you get to rebuild. Slowly, carefully, but fully. Marcus walked in behind her, a grin spreading across his face. Look at you, Ethan. Standing tall, looking like you've reclaimed the world. I'm learning too, I said. One day at a time. A colleague waved from across the room. Ethan, congrats on closing the deal yesterday. Thanks, I replied, feeling a swell of pride. Team effort. Sophia leaned closer. Teamwork, trust things you didn't have before, but now you do. I nodded, sipping my coffee.
Exactly.
And it feels good. Real good. I noticed the empty coffee station corner, Claire's absence a subtle reminder. No tension, no smirks, no reminders of past betrayal. Just empty space and a sense of relief. I noticed she's gone, Sophia said quietly, following my gaze. Yeah, I said. It's final, in a way. And it's necessary. I can move forward without looking back, without anger lingering. She smiled gently. You've done the hard work. Healing, forgiving yourself, letting go. That's not easy. I exhaled, letting a small smile form. I used to think revenge was the only way to feel in control. But now control is peace, clarity, and understanding my own strength. Marcus chimed in. And resilience. Don't forget that. Right, I said, nodding. Resilience, strength, and self-respect. Things betrayal tried to strip away, but I reclaimed them. Sophia reached out, lightly touching my arm. And maybe, somewhere in the future, trust again and love again, carefully. I looked at her, warmth spreading in my chest. Maybe.
Slowly.
But yes, that's possible. The office buzzed around us. People talking, phones ringing, laughter echoing. I realized I wasn't tense anymore. I wasn't calculating, plotting, or haunted by the past. I was simply present. I'm proud of you, Ethan, Marcus said, voice quieter now. Seeing you rise from all that, it's inspiring. I smiled genuinely, feeling a rare lightness. Thanks, Marcus. And thanks to you, Sophia, for reminding me that life is bigger than pain, bigger than betrayal. She shrugged softly. You had to do the work yourself. I just reminded you that it's worth it. I glanced at the empty space where Claire had been, then back at my team. I've learned a lot about people, about trust, about myself. And I've learned that freedom from the past is the only way to truly live. Marcus raised his coffee mug. Till living again. I lifted mine in return. Till living again. Sophia smiled, sipping her tea. And to new beginnings, Ethan. Ones that are yours fully and freely. I nodded, feeling the weight of months lift slowly. No more fear, no more anger lingering in the shadows. Just clarity. Just strength. Just life. The sun outside had climbed higher now, illuminating the office, reflecting off the windows, and it felt symbolic, a new dawn for me, literally and figuratively. I leaned back, feeling the warmth of the sun on my face, a rare calmness in my chest. I could breathe without guilt, without rage, without shadows of the past looming over me. I'm ready, I whispered quietly to myself, ready to live, ready to trust, ready to be myself fully. And for the first time in what felt like forever, I believed it. The world outside waited, bright and vast, and I stepped into it, stronger, wiser, and unburdened. A new dawn, a new life, and finally freedom.